my headset. It's frustrating. I'm not blaming you. There's something going on.
Hell no, this ain't my department anymore.
I'm gonna figure out what's going on with the headsets. Little.
Do you know how slow the process now of me adding gray hair is being out of radio every day?
Well, you are in radio every day.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the behind the scenes stuff, it is not easy work. I salute everybody who works here all the time. But man, the brown hairs are fighting back because we're out.
It matters if you care about sound.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how that
P&L
works.
reports and the regional calls and so forth. Who has time for that?
Well, that's in any job where that is the thing. Nobody likes that either.
But then you have that P&L call, and then the transmitter breaks. Director, get out there.
It's a toughie. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. It is Balls McWednesday. It's good to have you on board. Yeah, it's non-traditional around here. I'll air out the grievances right at the start of the show occasionally. Just here we go. I did go to practice today. I'm going to answer the question from Daniel right off the bat. Go Knowles, how was practice today? It was fine. Do I feel better about or better than I did at the start of this week, I guess? I don't know what to think. I can't get a handle on this game. It's a very strange week. It's shaping up to be very, very strange. I feel the extremes. I kind of feel like either Florida State's going to go in and play a really good football game and walk away with a convincing win over Clemson, and we'll all calm down a little bit, feel better, kind of chalk up what happened against Boston College to a number of weird factors. Like that game, oddly, is a little bit like the Clemson-Duke game. Like for anybody that actually watched the Clemson-Duke game, I know the final was 28-7 Duke, right? If you watched the game, you felt like Clemson was better than Duke, but they turned it over a gazillion times inside the 5. And then there was another turnover in the game as well. Like you can't do that against anybody who's halfway decent and expect to win. But when you just looked at the yards per play and all the other metrics, like Clemson's better than Duke. They are, but not on that night. And they lost that game because they did stupid things inside the 10-yard line over and over and over again. It's 31-10 Florida State. They've wrangled complete control of the game. They've gone on this huge run. It's 3rd and 17. Boston College and their head coach thought the game was over. They're content to run the clock out, basically. They're running the ball in the middle of the line, taking their time in between plays. And then on 3rd and 17, we have a bust, a blown assignment. Kid makes the play, and all of a sudden they're a little bit buoyed. And if you marry that with some really weird stuff, like you can't pick up a squib kick and you throw the ball on the ground and let a guy walk into the end zone. And I mean, just bizarre, dumb things. Team was riddled with the flu. So you just like combine all these different things and you're going, all right, was that just an anomaly? Was that just strange? Maybe. But it also revealed some things that I didn't like about the team that makes me question who they are a little bit. And I just think it leads to extremes. Like the reaction is an extreme. The thought that they could go in and maybe really dominate Clemson, but also could get dominated, which would open up a whole can of worms and a very different discussion. It's a strange week. The two games I just described were strange. The game Florida State just played was really strange. And so trying to get a feel of exactly what's what. I will go a little bit more with history, and I'll give Mike the benefit of the doubt here. Tends to dial up really good game plans in big moments and big games. They don't always win them, but he'll have something for you. And I do feel like that's going to be the case come Saturday. I feel like this offense is going to play well. It's hard to predict turnovers. It's hard to predict penalties and things of that ilk. But if they don't do anything to shoot themselves in the foot, I think they're going to move the ball effectively. I think they're going to have success offensively. I think this may end up being really the most complete game the offense plays. They haven't played a complete game yet. They didn't against LSU, and they didn't even against Southern Miss. And they certainly didn't against Boston College. But I wouldn't be surprised if they play their most complete game of the year on offense, meaning there's real balance. Guys run hard. They block it up. Jordan makes good decisions. They catch the ball. I could see this being their most complete game.
Well, if they do that, then Clemson's got to keep up with them, which all the pressure is now on Clemson. And I like our chances if the offense is setting the pace with consistent success and balance. I think they're going to be able to run the ball this weekend. But the hard part is for Florida State, you've got several data points, some great, some alarming.
Yeah.
With Clemson, you hardly have any data points. You've got the Duke game. It's a week 1, so that already creates mystery. You've got issues inside the 5-yard line with 2 turnovers and a missed field goal because of all the penalties you take and all that stuff. So how good is Duke is the missing piece that I'm trying to help create a comparison.
Yeah.
It was so easy to me, and to you too, because you picked it the same margin, to look at the LSU game, even though it was the first game of the season, because there were so many guys coming back for both sides. And so you had a lot of comps.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot easier to look at it with, okay, LSU returns X number of 22 starters. Florida State returns basically everybody. We were better than them last year. Have they become markedly better? They're moving Perkins to linebacker. Their secondary's worse.
They made a mistake there. That was silly.
But their secondary's worse out of camp. We're in a good position here.
Yeah, we thought so.
Clemson is a grand mystery. They're a grand mystery. And I think the hard part is, if I'm looking at it from Florida State's recent history itself, usually when that happens, that means that there's an issue within the program.
Right. Right.
I'm sure that Louisville in 2016 was petrified of Florida State coming to town for the noon kickoff. I'm sure that media group said, well, this team is, look.
They shouldn't have been.
You see that second half against Ole Miss? Look, they figured it out, guys. Look out for this group. And then 10 minutes in, they're like, oh, well, that's nothing at all. Clemson could be that, or they could be a hell of a lot stronger. It's hard to tell because they haven't played anybody the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's a new OC and a new offense altogether,
right.
And a new quarterback and a lot of news. Unfortunately, the one Norm, it seems like he's been there 105 years, is Shipley. I'm tired of his ass. He's been there forever and a day, and he's a real good football player.
Yes, he is.
He's really good, man. And he plays with a reckless abandon that I think everybody who plays college football or football in general should play with. But I think it's especially true if you're a running back. That's why I was upset when Nick Chubb got hurt, the other night watching that. There's a guy who plays the position the right way. And I think Shipley does too. They're running a lot of these 2-back sets at Clemson right now, and it'll be very curious to see how we handle that. I think we should be all right, but you're going to have to put on your big boy pants here. You can't do any of this patty cake nonsense we saw against Boston College in stretches. Now, I am inclined to chalk up, when I went back and watched again, I'm inclined to chalk up some of the passivity of the defensive line on both scheme and illness. I really think
scheme. We didn't talk a lot about that either.
Yeah, I wasn't real pleased with it. But I think some of that was scheme, some of that was illness, and it's curious. I mean, you had a couple guys really have some busts there, but you also had a couple guys that just didn't play at all like they've played prior. I mean, I will single them out. Farmer's been really good for us those first 2 games. I mean, he was a guy that was disruptive as hell. He started the LSU game, and he really won those battles individually. He was great. He was great, and he was good anyhow. And he's been good, period. He's a different animal. That's an NFL player. He's a big, strong dude. But he didn't look interested in playing football Saturday, and I don't think that's attitude. I don't think it's because he didn't care to play. I think he was sick. And they didn't have enough people. I mean, go back and look at the counts. Look at the play count on the rep counts. A lot of guys didn't play much. I mean, that was weird. Malcolm Ray was out there for like a play. What are we doing? They didn't have Byron Turner. People say, well, so what? You didn't have Byron Turner. So what is you got to give guys rests. You got to, especially if they're sick, you got to give people a chance to take a breather. We really didn't have it. I don't know. It was a weird game.
And yeah, they didn't run the ball traditionally. We're talking about quarterback runs.
But
the issue is, I can see it both ways, to where you say a lot of the traditional stuff we stopped, you're going to see quarterbacks who can move a lot.
Yeah.
And
this kid can move.
And their explosive plays were enough. Yes, he can. That's the other point. But the explosive plays were enough. They got over 400 yards.
Yeah.
400 yards. I'm not retconning Boston College to say, you know what? They were better than I thought on offense. It's not a good offense. It's not. 400 yards is unacceptable.
Well, especially
It's
since
unacceptable.
largely the explosive plays of which you speak largely happen on 3rd and 4th down.
Right. Yeah. I get you can have there are context clues and truths about being sick or whatever.
I think there were a lot of that.
400 yards is 400 yards, man.
Yeah, it can't happen.
Come on now.
Well, and again, you had some busts. We'll see if they clean that up this week. I think that as far as practice goes today, they looked a lot more like themselves. I was encouraged by who was out there. I was encouraged with the energy. I thought they were fine. Nothing too much to read into. Nothing really stood out there.
Was the staff being extra difficult compared to what you saw in camp? Was there a tenor other than the crowd noise that they piped in?
No, they had a ton of it. They really ratcheted up the crowd noise in a way that it's louder than I've hered it over there when they do that.
Well,
I'm not afraid to say that. I mean, it made a lot of sense, and it was the good kind of crowd noise. It's not music. It's like, they did a good job of replicating what the band will be sounding like right up until the snap, and then the fans in big spots really
when they hold the note.
Oh yeah, all the way. It's so annoying.
The dumbest thing.
Yeah,
that should be illegal. If you can't play an instrument for multiple notes, then stop.
Yeah, but
holding
then
one note.
They did a good job of especially when they were trying to run hurry up and simulating end of game scenarios, how loud it was. They did a good job of that.
They should just have Roseanne Barr on the PA go before the snap. It takes no skill.
But the frustration of that staff, you didn't see it today. Like, I didn't see those guys overly concerned. Now, they're very intense right now, and that's the way it should be before a big game. I mean, it's paramount that the limited time you have to get things straightened out and to work on, the things that plagued you that really came back to bite you. They don't have as much. That's the difference in the NFL and college football. You can watch an NFL game plan get totally decimated. You can have an idea of what you want to run, and then on that particular Sunday, because you're dealing with the best coaches in the world who have all day, every day to fix or to introduce, right? So you'll watch a team be one thing on a Sunday and a completely different thing the next Sunday. Belichick's done it for years. Like, they will show you that this is the thing they want to be, and they will change it up the next week based on what they're taking away from you. But they have all week. They have all day. It's your job.
The players don't have class.
That's right. There's no other thing you can do. I'm paying you millions of dollars a year. You're going to look at this thing with me for the next 7 hours. We're going to make sure we know it. You're not going anywhere. And we'll do it again tomorrow morning at 5. And then tomorrow night when I call you at 7 to make sure you're doing it again. And I'm going to send you notices at 10 while you lay your head on the pillow and say, look at this. Because this is my job. It's your job. And we like making millions of dollars, and we're going to get it right. But you can't do that with college kids. So they've got to make the most of these moments. And so I think there's an intensity there, understanding in a weird way that you have a chance. Like, let's think about what this could be. If Florida State goes and beats Clemson on Saturday, I don't care what I've pointed out as inconsistencies or what I've told you about the standard that I'm going to hold them to. I will admit to you that even if I'm willing to continue to do that, and I will, it's my job, if they're 4-0, I get where most of the fans will be like, great, Jeff, whatever. We're 4-0, dude. Before the year started, you talked about the 2 games of the first 4 and the need to win one of the 2. If you win them both, how am I going to be angry heading into a bye week because they have a few blemishes? You'd be right. You'd be right. Like, I thought the Bucs were going to suck this year. I still do. They're 2-0 right now. If they beat the Eagles on Monday night, I'm going to shut up about the Bucs being terrible because at that point, that would be dumb. They would be 3-0. And I don't know if you saw this stat, just an aside. Baker Mayfield is the number 1 ranked quarterback in the NFL on 3rd down right now.
I've been saying it for years. He's unbelievable on 3rd down.
He's 20 of 23 on 3rd down.
Yeah. No, I thought it was an expert signing by the Buccaneers.
That's an aside, right? Like, just that's funny. Like, at some point, you'd have to be like, he's playing well. I don't know what to say. That's all there is to it.
Okay.
He's playing well. We had no evidence to suggest that was going to happen, but it's happening now. I will say it's the same OC that somehow got Geno Smith to be good last year. So maybe this guy's big on reclamation projects. I'm just letting you know. But there may be something to that. But again, if we go to 4-0, if Florida State goes to 4-0, It doesn't really matter that Trey Benson's run the ball tentatively. It doesn't really matter that we're not winning first down efficiently. It doesn't really matter that Jordan could play a lot better than he's been playing. It doesn't really matter that occasionally Johnny can't catch anything. It doesn't really matter, because at that point you're 4-0. You've won the 2 biggest games you had to win. Neither of them were at home, and you'd be sitting in the catbird seat going into a bye week with a chance to get healthy and ready and right the ship before you play a sorry-ass Virginia Tech team. We would be singing Kumbaya. So that's on the line. You're a top 3 team. You'd have the 2 best wins in America. You would be a team that absolutely deserves to be at the top of the talking points about the college football playoff at this point. That's a fact. You would be.
Yeah.
And if you lose the game on the heels of how you performed against Boston College with those same warts that I just referenced, you'd be talking about, do they got problems? What's this rest of this year going to be? Do they have issues that we couldn't anticipate? You have one minor injury here. It leads to a problem there. You got some egos here, leads to some problems there. Like, the conversation, the talking points after this game will be very different. You're either, hey, everybody, let's join hands. All's well with the world. Are they perfect? Nope. But look around college football. Nobody is. Why not us? We're 4-0. Or it's, they've only played one really good half. I'm telling you, that's the extreme of what we'll be talking about.
One good half.
Right? I mean, you're going to be like,
yeah.
Okay.
And the hard part is anticipating it. You've had feelings over the years for the Louisville game. I've always trusted those because they proved to be right in the good sense and in the bad. This one it's unique for Clemson. By the time we play Clemson, this isn't Miami where for a few years we played them on Labor Day weekend. I think that might have happened once in the history of me watching Florida State. Clemson, typically by the time we play them, you know exactly what they are.
Right.
10 years ago, we went up there and we laid the wood on Clemson. They played Georgia the opening week of the season. And that's where ABC fell in love with them and ESPN fell in love with them.
Yeah.
And why they, took a second lap with the bus around the stadium by the time we got there later in the year. But you knew exactly what they were. And the last few years, good quarterback play or great quarterback play, you knew who the guy was. He'd been around a little while. By the time we had seen them, they'd had to have played last year. They played NC State, which was a good defense. So you knew that their offense was going to be this or that. They played Wake Forest before we played them. They were tested. Do they know what they have? They might not. I know they're saving stuff for us, but I don't know that Garrett Riley knows what his offense is all about. They might still be searching.
Yeah.
Whereas we know what we are, good and bad. This coaching staff knows. They're too old. They're too experienced. I'm talking about the roster. It's too experienced to know what you are, what you're not.
Yeah, and I think there's a real good chance, again, that if I'm looking for certainties and things that I'm excited about to see Saturday, is I'm excited to watch them play offense. I don't really know how they'll play on defense. They've caused me to question them a little bit.
What's the scheme? What's
I think I know
plan?
what the scheme's going to be. A ton of quarters coverage, and I'm fine with that.
So they're going to play off.
Well, I think they'll play sort of their base quarters. I mean, to allow for all of those, 4 verts and the things that Clemson does, and with that would make sense to me. That's fine because you can, if you this, Tom, but if you play that coverage, it can be effective against the run and the pass.
Yeah, they can convert to basically a man.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So it's a versatile defense. It's why you see it in the league. It's why you see it here. People have grown. Interestingly enough, Narduzzi is the one who was really, really good at that when he was at Michigan State, and
Yeah, but how does that pair with what you do up front?
Well, that was a bit of the problem. I think so, Tom. I think so. I think they'll be very aggressive up front. I think they'll be much more aggressive up front. I think some of the problem, and again, that could have been born out of illness. I don't know. But I think some of the problem in that game against BC is we got back to a little bit of the one hand not knowing what the other hand's doing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I hate that in ways I can't explain. It's led me in the past to talk about not being coordinated.
Especially with an offense that this type of offense will slice and dice that apart. Like most any would. Boston Colleges did to the tune of 400 plus yards.
Because you didn't take anything away.
But this offense will test that. Like, we had breakdowns where some dudes just weren't covered early in the game, happened in the second half as well. And so BC takes advantage of it, and you part the Red Sea for them, perhaps in a third long. Quarterback can run right up the middle. Well, that's us just kind of screwing up. This one's going to manipulate you. They didn't do anything crazy. Boston College schematically, we were like, whoa, hat tip. You guys are, wow.
Well,
I never saw that scheme before.
They occasionally lined up 3 to a side, then flooded an area, and everybody didn't know who to pass anybody off to and got confused. That was
that's not exotic.
No,
now what Garrett Riley does can be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, that's why I say the intrigue around this game is greater than a simple matchup proposition. Where you talk about Florida State Clemson, it's Florida State Clemson. I mean, that's a great rivalry. It's turned into, and Florida State getting back on the national landscape to the degree with which we have means, again, we get to ratchet up this rivalry and the fun and the intensity and the hatred and everything that happens with that when two teams are vying for top the conference. But then you throw that away because that's largely a fan thing, and then just get into the matchup as opposed to who the two teams are. And it is hard to judge. It really is hard to judge what Clemson is. Like you said, really hard to judge what we are right now defensively. I think there's enough evidence that when the front four is healthy, right, and motivated, they attack.
Yeah.
And so I suspect that will be on display Saturday.
Well, it's just about the multitude of what Clemson does in the running game. And do you continue to do your job after a week in which there was panic? There's no question that there was panic after they exhaled. It's, I know that the offense and special teams were the catalysts for BC's run in the second half. Specifically, they were the catalyst for BC believing again, that in a third and long conversion, or 5 of them.
Yeah, a ton of them.
But whatever the reason, you have to continue to stay wherever you're supposed to be, because this scheme, that running back and Will Shipley, if you're not where he's got eyes in the back of his head. We talk about it with pocket presence, but this guy will run up the middle. He'll see that you're cheating towards the middle of the field to get in on a tackle. He'll bounce left and he'll run for 30 yards because you didn't hold the edge.
Yeah.
Because you decided that you're going to go freelance and try to make a play. That's what he does.
I always thought it was the easiest thing in the world to teach, though. I just don't think it's hard. I think it's so easy to point out on film when you make that mistake. It's so easy just to remind somebody that I appreciate your aggressiveness. I appreciate how eager you are. It's especially easy, I think, to point this out against a team that you respect. Like, I think where you get in trouble is when you're playing teams whose athleticism you don't respect, whose overall ability you don't respect, because then you feel like you can just utilize yours to a greater degree and overcome mistakes.
It's in this specific area that I agree it's good that BC has some bad tape. Like our defense has some bad tape against BC.
Yeah.
Great timing for that specific element of it. Stay where the hell you're supposed to stay.
Yes. Yeah. Well, remember, the offense showed some poor tendencies against Southern Miss in a 66-point effort. The reverse was true, right? On those 3rd and 4th down conversions, they just utilized Jordan's legs to buy time and make people miss and run around crazy.
Not sustainable.
No, you can't do that.
He got himself hurt last week trying to do the same thing.
In that situation, you would say you were successful, but that's the result. That's not the process. The process was an absolute failure. So don't do that. Now, they did do it because they could get away with it against Southern Miss. And in huge games, you have to do it. Like, Jordan's got to utilize that ability in this game. If you can make a dude miss or you have an opportunity to run the football, well, we need not be hesitant here, man. If they're in man, they turn their back to you, go take the 20 yards and get down.
Yeah, and if you've got to make a Superman play like you did against Florida, then, I mean, you have to
do it.
Time.
Yeah, you have to do it. It's nice that you have that in your back pocket.
There's a difference between that and taking the 4 yards and punting and, hoping that a guy makes a man miss rather than just holding the ball to make a superhero.
Whoa, yeah. That's totally different.
Like, when you have
One's
something
born
out
of necessity, the other is just, silly.
The Florida thing's out of necessity.
Completely. Yeah, it was a broken dam, yeah. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course the price. Buying a home could be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers, and that's not all. Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270-146.
Want a Zaxby's Big Zax snack meal for free? With free fingers, free fries, free Zax sauce, even free Texas toast? All you have to do is download the Zaxby's app. Did you download it yet? Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk radio show. Tune in every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where I provide clear answers to all your questions about Medicare.
The leaves are starting to fall, the temperatures will start to fall, and the prices are falling right now at Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. Incredible dealer discounts up to $5,000 are available on all hot spring spas, the industry leader in hot tubs and spas. If you've never experienced the sensation and relaxation of having your own hot tub in your backyard on a cool evening, you're truly missing out. The cold months are coming, and now's the time to set yourself up for the best winter season you've ever had. Plus, you'll gain the added health benefits of reduced stress, relief of sore muscles, and better sleep. You'll feel so relaxed after a nice soak in your new hot spring spa. You'll experience some of the best sleep of your life. Head over to Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road and check out their huge showroom packed with the best selection of hot tubs and spas available. And ask about getting up to $5,000 in discount, low interest financing, and a free accessory to make your hot tub dreams come true. If you're ready to relax, Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
Services to call away. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services. Conferences to call away. Parker Services. Conferences to call away.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make a move to keep your home comfortable, even if the power gets knocked out, with a home backup generator. Parker Services is proud to announce that they now sell and install whole home generators, and with financing options, they can be surprisingly affordable. Never worry about the loss of power again. Invest in your family's peace of mind with a home generator from Parker Services. Give them a call today for a free quote.
Parker Services. Conferences to call away.
CFC 050334.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Football, to playing games like this sounds so cliche, but it really is true. You can learn a lot about what your team is and what they're not, and let's hope that the news is good for Florida State. I'm not willing to tell you that sample size of bad play against Boston College in a weird situation is who they are, but I'm also still not willing to suggest that they're as dominant as I thought they could be coming out of camp. We certainly saw evidence of that against LSU, but now we've seen some evidence against it. So this leaves the intrigue that almost every season provides. Almost every season gives you a moment where you think, I may be wrong about them. I may be right. This is a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what you predicted. We get a lot of these right and a lot of these wrong as fans. I'm talking about all of us when we apply it to our team, but also college football as a whole. You know, what we think we know about a team or a quarterback or a coach or a program and the direction they're headed, it shifts a lot during a season. So this happened at a weird time because I I know I didn't. I won't speak for everybody. I didn't think we would have a second assessment so early in the year. I thought the second assessment would happen after the Clemson game. The first assessment is what came before the first game, where we said they're good, they're really good, they had a great camp, and I think they'll play well against LSU. You echoed that. We boldly went forth, predicted the scores. I damn near got it right. In terms of point differential, you're right. We were right there together. I didn't think we'd be doing a second one until after the Clemson game. Turns out that game kind of required a second assessment of, all right, well, maybe an injury to Akeem Dent is a bigger problem than we would have ever guessed. And I think that's true.
Yeah, and it's something where there's a lot of reasons for the head coach to be pissed off, and he was in the post game.
He's intense today, buddy.
Yep.
I'm not saying that. You asked about the staff. Staff was the staff. Mike was like quiet and watching closely and just really taking a good long look.
So I've heard from people around the building, maybe somebody you've talked to or not, some folks, but rivalry weeks, he's a different dude anyway. But I would imagine coming off of that performance against Boston College, I mean, that only accentuates the fact that he's already kind of prickly during a rivalry week. He's locked in, and he's got a lot to be mad about. Some of it, you said it yesterday in headlines, he's mad at himself to a degree.
I think he was. I don't think he liked the way he called the game in the second half.
But also, when you say that a team exhaled, that's on you, man. Come on now. That's on you to make sure that they don't do that they never get to a place where they exhale. Now, that's, in the recap, when he's talking about it to the team, he goes, do you understand?
Yeah.
A win, that's the bare minimum. We're up here. Like, what you did today was down here. I commend you for the win, but you got to come here every play. Well, that's him trying to impart the message that he realized too late that it failed to get home before the Boston College Challenge.
What I think is interesting is that he's not the only guy that has that happen as a coach. It's a cool profession, but it's also a difficult and a weird one, and especially in college because you're not dealing with pros. So it is interesting. So, for example, Brian Kelly, after the LSU game in the second half implosion where they get run off the field, sits up there at the dais. I don't know. I would have chosen that moment to talk about this, but he tells the world that, I don't know who they thought they were. They thought they were two-time defending national champion Georgia. Obviously, we're not. And then that's terrible. It's a weird thing to do because, again, as Tom pointed out, that's on you, dude.
Yeah,
you kind of got to read your team to know that at halftime they felt that kind of good to come out and go through the motions and then get boat raced, have an avalanche on them.
Yeah, and in this case, you're up 31-10, and you can probably sense that on the sideline if the intensity is leaving their eyes.
It's such a weird thing.
It's not easy, and it happens in the blink of an eye that it goes from 31 to 10
in human
to
nature.
31
It does happen, right?
Yeah, to 22 at that point. But still, that's on you at the end of the day. So it's a reason to be pissed off. And then he said a couple of things that I thought were strange. One of which was, we put some things on tape that we didn't want to. We put some things on film that we didn't want to. I don't know verbatim exactly how he said it, but it was, so are you worried that something that you didn't want Clemson to know about us is out there? I find that fascinating. It's an interesting comment because it could be about effort. It could be about schematic deficiencies. It could be personnel deficiencies. But he said that we put some things on film that, we wish we didn't.
I think he's talking about the defense. I think he's talking about what they'll try to do against the defense, what offenses are going to try to now do against this defense. It didn't have to be that way. At 31-10, you get a stop at 3rd and 17. You go down and score. It's 38-10. The game's over. You're both running the ball into the line, and you get on an airplane. Yeah. Instead, you didn't get to rest anybody. You had to play a bunch of guys. Something weird like that, right? You didn't get to rest a bunch of guys, and instead, Verse has to play a ton of snaps the week before you play Clemson, which is not something you want. That's true of several of the guys. You wouldn't want to do that. You probably further exposed aspects of the back end that you didn't want to expose. So, yeah, man. Eventually, all those things. The beauty of football, though, you get found out, you get got. It's going to happen along the way. We talk about long baseball seasons holding up a mirror to you in a way that the playoffs don't. Playoffs is a short race. You can survive with some illnesses, some weaknesses, because they don't always get exposed. But over 162 games, they're going to get exposed. If your bench is weak, it's going to get exposed. If your bullpen is weak, it's going to get exposed. And in college football, eventually it does. I mean, somebody stumbles into it, maybe quite by accident, which you could argue happened in this past game. And now all of a sudden people are like, and it's up to you to fix that so that goes away.
Yeah, and the hard part here for this game, again, is how much has Clemson put out there, even in the Duke game? I wonder if they took Duke 100% seriously.
I kind of think they did, Tom. I think that that's the first game with a new coordinator. They're not sure who they are, and they turn it over a gazillion times.
They do. But my point is, how much did you really install for Duke versus what you were going to save for Florida State formationally? Like Garrett Riley has a lot more 4 wide and weird stuff, like 3 receivers stacked in a line to the right in a uber spread set with a 1 back. I didn't see any of that. There's a lot of TCU stuff that was different because they had good receivers. They don't have the level of receivers at Clemson that he did at TCU last year. And you could see that with the depth that they threw the ball. Max Duggan threw the ball down the field all the damn time last year. Garrett Riley, not Garrett Riley, Kate Klubnik has only thrown it down the field deep less than 10% of the time this year, which is that's not the way this offense typically works.
And that's also not a strength of Clemson's right now. And they have a dinged up player at wide receiver from this last game. You got to see how healthy he is. In fact, Clemson's health is something to pay close attention to. They've had a few guys out. They've had an injury on the offensive line. They've had an injury at wide receiver. They've had an injury, I believe, on the defensive line. So they've had a couple of guys where you're like, I think they're playing a freshman in their nickel package. So you never want to do that. If we were doing that, we would be very concerned.
Yeah. What I suspect from watching the Duke game, because it's all you got, keep coming back to that. I think we're going to be able to run the ball on them if we're able to run the ball the way, that we're supposed to.
The great oddity was they ran the ball on them last year.
Yes. And they did so in a way that we had not seen at that point.
There was a double oddity to that talking point. Florida State ran the ball on Clemson in a way that nobody could have predicted based on the number of first and second rounders they had on that defensive line and what Florida State was. The problem is that everybody ran the ball on Clemson the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Like we exposed something that even in a loss, people were like, oh, they're having a hard time with this.
Right.
And
it wasn't gap, it was outside zone.
It was outside zone.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So that is actually just about pushing somebody off the ball, not, flanking them.
It was kind of strange. Dabo mentioned yesterday at his press conference, and I thought Dabo, for as much fun as I make of him and at him, and for all the right reasons, I think, occasionally can be really good. I've sat and talked with him, and he was really good. That interview I did with him a few years ago, he was really good. He's capable when his ego isn't in the way, or he doesn't feel that you're challenging his superior intellect when it comes to coaching. If he doesn't think that you're doing that, then he can be affable and modest and fun-loving and interesting even, dare I say.
Who would dare do that? Come on now.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was good yesterday.
Ken Jennings wouldn't do that.
He was right to point out, the history of the rivalry, and they've been on the wrong side of it and on the right side of it, and all the games that he's been a part of. And he pointed out how good Florida State is. He praised Mike Norvell. I think that's genuine. He did that last year when they won the game, and he did it the year before. I think he likes Mike. I think he thinks Mike's a good coach. Now, we could, obviously once again relitigate the whole Wuhan Dabo situation, but the point would be, I think he believes Mike is building something that is a problem for him and for Clemson for the long haul. And he's right. I think he's right about that. He talked about Florida State's ability to run all the RPOs off the counter that they like to run. And then he mentioned the screen game. And that's exactly right. We do that very well, and we create a lot of opportunities off of it. And I think he can talk about that all he wants. There is a lot to defend in that, and it's difficult. And I would not be surprised if they did break out 2 things that he referenced yesterday. Jordan Travis's legs, it's a big game, it's time to run him. And then this is just part of our basic offense, so I'm not revealing anything here. We love to run those slip screens. We love to roll Jordan out of the pocket and create opportunities to go back to the other side.
Yeah.
I think that's coming in this game.
Well, and that's where, even though this is an air raid type system that Riley comes from, he calls it the dirt raid now. They have a lot of elements that are very similar to what Mike does. Now, one thing that's very different about what Clemson is, they'll run straight ahead right at you. Like
we're supposed to be able to.
They'll call. Yes, eventually we'll get there one day. Sweet Jesus.
I think if you get Mo back, you might be able to do that.
I'm talking like dive. Think about Gus Malzahn on first down from Auburn. I always like to use that example because it killed us that night, and so it's probably etched in people's minds. They will do that, but they'll run gap. they'll run counter like crazy. They will.
Yeah.
They'll move the pocket the same way with a pulling guard or a
Yep.
pulling
Yeah,
tackle.
yeah.
They do the exact same thing. They spread you out wide. They like the bubble underneath. If they throw the bubble here, this is where I'm bullish. We get downhill and we stop that nonsense with a quickness.
It's beautiful.
I'd be alert on a pump, on a double,
A little
a double
pump and go.
move,
Yeah.
pump and go. That bit us last year. We had the blitz on the right side, and Akeem wasn't where he needed to be.
I
there
can
was a
live
shot down the right.
with that. I can live with that. Play aggressively, play fast.
Right, get downhill,
Yeah.
play aggressive, play fast. So the hard part for us defensively is when they throw these little wrinkles and eye candies that oddly enough we've worked against all at camp because it's what our offense
It's
does.
what we do. Yeah.
You stay where you're supposed to stay in your lanes. Because if you do, I suspect this defensive line will be a lot better. And a lot of the stuff that they want to run 2nd and 8, they'll be in 2nd and 8. And then you're in business because Cade will give you the ball every once in a while. He's a good player, but so far this season, he will give you the football if you're man enough to take it.
Well, circle that because I think it's for both sides of the ball. We haven't done a good job of winning first down all that well offensively. We haven't. We're not winning the ball in the run game on offense on first down. And when we're really good on defense is when we're dominating up front on first down against the run game. So if you're able to stop that and set up 2nd and long, it changes everything. And that's the way defenses have played us so far, where we're in way too many 3rd and 4th downs, way too many. And I think that's because we haven't been able to sustain a run game to get anything kind of going, get 3 or 4 yards on first down, and then let's go from there. Somebody asked me yesterday, how come we don't run more tempo? When you're not winning first down, you can't run tempo.
Yeah. Agreed.
So we haven't won first downs, and you can't play fast if you're not able to stay ahead of the chains. You can, but it's dangerous.
What I'm fascinated by is, Garrett Riley's going to tell you what he saw on film with how they come out.
Oh, yeah.
How much do they run straight at us to start the game, if at all? And if they do, how successful are they? But does he see something on film that he thinks that we at Clemson can run right at Florida State? Or does he think that they need to go 2 back, run counters and misdirections to get their big plays in the run game? I think it's the latter.
It's the latter.
But I wonder how much
But every
he
coach
saw.
has an ego, and they'll tell you, well, let's test them in there. Let's see what they are tonight. Let's see if they care to be here. Let's see if they're going to be a man, or are we going to be able to, kind of have our way? Yeah, I suppose. If he's just looking at the BC game, he's probably liking everything he sees. But if he goes back and watches all 3 games, he's saying, well, wait a minute, that might be the anomaly.
Yeah.
Because it is.
But he'll tell you what he saw.
Well, and I think this is where you get into what a coach is and what he really knows and what he's hoping and all of those things. Because I think it is, now you talk about human nature. It's human nature to believe in your guys that you're going to battle with every day, that you're out there in the 98-degree sun and humidity working with, and that you've been encouraging and that you've worked, side by side with, to believe that they're tough.
And you believe that, rightly so, that Will Shipley, so what? Somebody's there. Or Phil Moffa's tough enough to run a joker over.
And they have been in their careers, and Will especially. So, yeah, why wouldn't you, right? But now you'll get a good answer to that quick. And I tend to think that the latter of what you described with that 2-back set, the counters and misdirections, I could see that being their game plan.
The way they set up their passing. I think they have to do that to pass, unless they've just been saving an element of the offense, which is possible.
Very possible. Very possible.
But if you look again at the splits of medium level and deep throws for Garrett Riley quarterback, since he's been an OC, it's only his 4th year as an offensive coordinator, 2 years at SMU, 1 year at TCU, and now this. They are so underneath compared to any other year in his time.
So far. So
what does that mean?
Well, it means they don't have elite receivers, for starters. That's what that means. And I think that's accurate. They don't. And Clemson's had a bevy of really good receivers for some time now. It's nice to see for once that they may be human, ordinary at quarterback and receiver. That'd be good. That'd be nice. Everybody has to go through that every once in a while.
Got some slippery dudes, but they don't have
Mike
Williams.
Right. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Tallahassee Police.
Hey guys, our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it quite literally every single day. I began using AG1 because I'll be honest with you, I don't like to take a bunch of pills and vitamins, and I just wanted something that tastes great, was quick, and easy to remember. So I do it. I do it every morning when I wake up. I certainly have it right after my coffee and before I work out. And I will tell you this, too. It is a simple, effective investment for your health. You can try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. go to drinkag1.com/JCS. Again, that's all you got to do is go to drinkag1.com/JCS. That's drinkag1.com/JCS. Check it out. It's delicious. It's quick. It's easy. It's proven. Vitamins, probiotics, whole food source nutrients. Start your day with it. You'll feel better. I promise.
Skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 87. Winds out of the east 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight, lows around 69. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow, highs around 87, partly cloudy. Mainly clear Friday with a high of 86. 87 Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 85.
Clean, renewable energy means fresher air, healthier residents, new green jobs, and a stronger, more resilient community. How we get there is up to you. Share your input today to help shape the Tallahassee of tomorrow. Take the Clean Energy Survey at talgov.com.
Your next chance to splash into some cash with Swain Pools and Spas to win $1,000 is coming up at 2 p.m. Listen out for the keyword, and all you got to do is text the keyword for a chance to win $1,000.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chunglo, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chunglo. It's delicious. All of these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
So, Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Got back from Philadelphia, had the pleasure of watching the game with the Seminole Club of Philadelphia. They love them some Warchant and JCS. Awesome, Marcus. That's cool. And a shout out to the Seminole Club of Philadelphia for listening in and supporting the stuff we do at Warchant and here on the JCS. That's awesome. It's always cool to go to. I remember we had people do that a couple years in a row with New York City, and certainly we've always had it in Atlanta and Orlando and Miami.
That's a good shirt.
I still have it.
Yeah, the long sleeve.
I haven't lost it yet. Just waiting for the weather to break out. You know, I had a great day today to start it. This great morning to start it. It reminded me of the football wins yet again. I had cause to use the treadmill this morning early. I got one from Orange Theory Fitness. I love their treadmills in particular for a variety of reasons. But anyhow, if on their days that I'm going to be busy, like going to practice, coming home, getting my kid from his football practice, and you and I do an Ask Me Anything like we're going to do tonight at 7:00 with our interactive show, which is an awful lot of fun. Hopefully you guys will be there. I'm also recording the Warchant Report at 6. So I knew my day was going to get crazy. And I thought, well, I got to get some sort of a workout in, and I'm trying to get better about doing that first thing in the morning. That's why I got the treadmill. But get this, buddy. It's, when it's 98, it's very easy to convince yourself not to go out and hit that treadmill. It's very, because I have it out in the garage, right? So I have to open it up and it's humid and you're like, this morning, put the headphones on. I've lifted up the garage door. I was, what do we have here?
Showing off for the neighborhood, huh?
Brisk air coming through. What do we got? Loved it. It was great. I was listening to an interview with Johnny Morrow while I was running. I was like, I could do this all morning. This was good stuff.
Who's that?
guitarist, former guitarist for the Smiths, Modest Mouse, amongst others.
Oh, wow. All right.
Really talented guitarist.
Been around.
Yes.
Done some things.
Manchester, England. Really brilliant guitarist. Anyhow, so I was listening to that interview, and it was just perfect. I was going. And then I thought, well, this may have to be the thing. Are we going to get this all the time? Football welcomes in good habits for once. What is this?
I don't know what to make of that. I don't like it.
There
weren't very many good habits before Clemson 13, you know?
I did not run in the nude, Noel Dad, but I did throw on some stretchy runner shorts.
Well, there you go.
The very kind I make fun of because I was in the privacy of my garage.
With it open for the
You
public
can't
to see.
behind the thing there. Yeah, no, it was. I want that cool air to hit. We were running. It was good.
So I know you're confused. I am too, about what the game is going to look like.
I am. Maybe I'll know more tomorrow.
What's your confidence level right now? Is it a number? Is it a question mark?
It's 5 out of 10. P. Simpson, 100%. Middle Tennessee State is the side against Colorado State. That is a bad spot for Colorado State, buddy. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sales, low check cashing fees, new and used firearm sales, and more.
Throughout the years, we have made many great friends, serving thousands of great customers. To all of you, thanks for making our life so much fuller.
If you haven't seen us in a while, we invite you to drop by and check us out. Like most things, changes happen with time. Lower fees, larger inventory, outstanding service are just a couple of the changes you might discover. Come check us out again. Falmers, more than you might expect, with 2 great locations. This is Alex from Falmers. We've been buying gold and silver jewelry, fine watches, and other collectibles for over 45 years. But did you know Falmers buys and sells gold and silver coins, bars, and bullion? Don't get scammed online or pay high shipping and handling fees. Call or stop by Falmers for a quick and easy quote. Falmers is your local source for buying, selling gold and silver coins and bullion. Falmers, more than you might expect, with 2 great locations.
Is joint pain, soreness, and achiness getting in the way of your best life? Football legend Emmitt Smith refuses to back down to pain. That's why he's a huge advocate for QC Kinetics and their natural approach to getting you relief.
Look, we get one trip around, so I wouldn't ever let pain stop me from hanging out with my race team, traveling with my family, or golfing with my friends.
Emmitt's got it right. And QC Kinetics uses regenerative medicine to relieve that never-ending pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. And the best news, there's nothing foreign being introduced into your body. Just your own body's natural healing properties. No surgery or no downtime.
If pain's holding you back, maybe it's tennis, pickleball, running, hiking, or spending time with special people in your life, what are you waiting for? This is precious time. Get out there and get over to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Jimmy Fasig at Fasig Brooks. We hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Don't go anywhere. Your chance to win $1,000 is coming up next on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Zay Jones day-to-day with a knee injury. Josh Allen, the outside linebacker, dealing with a shoulder sprain. Jaguars 9.5-point favorites at home against the Houston Texans at Everbank Stadium Sunday, where the total is 44. Monday Night Football, the Buccaneers 5.5-point home underdogs against the Philadelphia Eagles, a total 44.5. College football on Saturday. The Florida Gators are a 28-point home favorite against Charlotte. Total bet down from 51 to 49. The Florida State Seminoles, number 4 in the country, winners of 9 straight, a 2-point road favorite at Clemson. The total 56. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Every piece of land has a story. For the Nelsons, it's cruising around their Montana ranch on a John Deere Gator XUV 835R. With 3,000 acres, there's plenty of work to do.
We're not afraid to jump in and help each other out.
That's how they've kept their ranch going for 5 generations.
It's all about efficiency.
Like teaching visitors to fly fish.
The whole joy with fly fishing is matching the hatch.
Run with us on a Gator XUV 835R and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
What makes Taco Bell's rolled chicken tacos so good? Is it the shredded, marinated, all-white meat chicken? Well, yeah, obviously. But it's also the 3 amazing dipping sauces to choose from. Spicy ranch, warm nacho cheese sauce, and house-made daily guacamole. Now, if you need a third reason, their white corn tortillas are fried to golden perfection, which everyone knows is the best kind of perfection. Order rolled chicken tacos on the Taco Bell app. Get 1 dip for 2-pack or 2 dips for 4-pack at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last.
I'm Caleb. I'm the lawn supervisor at Paul's Termite and Pest Control, and I really do love my job. Paul's has created an incredible work environment that always puts our customers' needs first. Their needs are our concerns, and my particular job of improving the health of North Florida lawns is something I truly enjoy. I'm an outdoor person, and I get to be outside all day, watching the lawns run through the stages full of weeds to weedless to lush, grass-filled landscapes is very rewarding. I'm proud to represent Paul's.
I'm Jay. Having the privilege to work with people like Caleb and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We're North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
It's time to splash into cash with Swain Pools and Spas. Here's your next keyword.
Happy. 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 Happy.
Text that keyword now to 508-777-1000. That's 508-777-1000 for your chance to win $1,000. Sponsored by Swain Pools and Spas.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
now at one of 43 Zaxby's in your neighborhood here in Tallahassee. 43 to choose from's a lot. That's on the corner of most streets, right? Swing on by. Thick cut pickles, split top bun, big old chicken breast, plus the platter this weekend with some spicy Zax sauce if you're not heading to the game. If you are heading to the game, I'm sure they have Zaxby's up there too. But
here's hoping that on Monday there are well over 100 Zaxby's, because if I recall, you said more than 100 at some point. Now, I could be forgetting. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it's always been 40 plus.
43 right now.
Yeah, I'm just hoping it's more than 100 on Monday, because 43, it just sounds low.
You're disappointed by the amount of Zaxby's in Tallahassee being 43?
I don't know.
That seems like a lot.
Again,
it feels like
I could be Roger Clemens. I could be misremembering things. But I feel like there was 120 at some point.
I remember the old misremembering things, and we had fun with that on the show. My kids misremember things. Then they claim that I've misremembered.
Norvell said something this week about communication and the breakdowns, and he called them, we missed some opportunities in communication.
So one of the things that coaches do, and I laugh at this all the time, and we've always had fun with this, and now we do that Coach Speak show on Thursdays, me, Ira, and Corey, and it's just a reminder of this, Tom, but you and I have talked about on this show a lot. They're so meticulous and careful about what messages they're trying to send to players, coaches, teams, fans, opponents, that sometimes if they get caught off guard by a question, or they get asked to hear a specific question about why something didn't work, they want to be careful about how they answer it, especially if they're the kind of coach that actually wants to give you an answer, but needs to craft it in such a way as to not thoroughly roll his coordinator or piss off the player that made the mistake, right? Because they're going to need him. They're going to need the player. They're going to need the player to play with confidence. But he wants to give you an honest answer. Well, we actually had the right call for that, but this one player completely ambushed everything we'd worked so hard for by not being where he's supposed to be. Now, that is a breakdown in communication and or execution by this particular player whose name I'm not mentioning. But they want to be very careful, right? And if it's about the coordinator making a mistake or a consistent problem, well, this coordinator's been there. Now they're combining anger with a need to try to answer this carefully, and it comes across as a word salad, just a bunch of mumbo jumbo where they're just adding things that don't make any sense, non sequiturs abound, all of it, because they catch themselves after each moment that they're trying to explain the thing.
This is a very minor concern, but I will put it on the record. That's the most Jimbo sounding Mike ever was on Monday.
Yeah, because I think there were three things at play. He was mad at himself, mad at his team, and mad at his coaches. I think it was a three-pronged mad. I think he was mad at himself, mad at a coach or two. I think I could name them. And he was mad at his players too. And so it's like, how do I articulate this without rolling everybody under the bus? Because I'm mad at everybody, including myself.
But you had non sequiturs. You had 10 guys got it, one guy didn't. That's an oldie and a goodie. And inches.
Oh, he did. Don't do that. Don't do the inches thing. And don't add things that don't need to be added. We missed an opportunity to communicate. We didn't communicate. It's a better way of saying that.
Well, opportunities in communication. I don't know what you're talking about.
We didn't communicate on the third down that you're speaking of that was converted. We didn't communicate. There you go. There it is.
Next question.
Yeah, there it is. We missed an opportunity to communicate. What?
Opportunities in communication is a textbook that's being taught at University Center D.
Yeah.
You know?
Opportunities. I'm going to start doing this.
Sales.
Yeah, I'm going to do this when I tell Clark to clean his room. Now, Clark, on Wednesday, I asked you to clean your room. Today, it's Thursday, and I see the room's not clean. We missed an opportunity to clean our room on Wednesday. We can't go through life missing opportunities to get things done here, son. So as I sit here on a Thursday morning, noticing that you missed the opportunity to clean the room that I asked you to do yesterday, we're not going to miss it again today, are we? We're going to take advantage of our opportunities to clean the room.
I have a real feeling that Alfred says that because,
Yeah,
remember when
yeah.
he first took the gig and he's like, sometimes it's just pushing in a chair. Like I could see him walking downstairs.
We missed an opportunity to push in this chair.
Brenda, I think we missed an opportunity there. See the chair?
Brenda,
now, I'm going
I
to go
think
ahead and push it in because
yeah.
it's about all of us.
Yeah,
It's about all of
yeah.
us coming together.
That's a little Ted Lasso-y.
But Brenda, I think we missed an opportunity.
We missed an opportunity to push in a
I don't know how to
chair.
do Jerry Jones younger.
Yeah, that is so good, though.
That's how you nail it.
We missed an opportunity to mop, Kathy. I see the floor looks a little dingy.
Now, don't be too proud.
Yeah, we missed an opportunity to mop the floor now yesterday, didn't we? I know it was late, but I came through here about 6 o'clock. This floor was begging to be mopped. I think we missed an opportunity. Let's not let another day go by with these opportunities screaming out, be taken advantage of. There's a mop right over there.
Remember, there are cookies upstairs. Right?
That is one of the fun things when a coach is mad. Like, I was really listening closely to Mike and watching the facial expression. You know I do this.
Ooh, he had a weird one this week, too.
Yeah, he had a couple.
There's another Jimbo thing. That, it wasn't the eyes darting, but he was like,
he doesn't
he was
do the
messing
eye
with
dart.
he was messing with the jaw. He's like hemming and hawing underneath his breath. He was incensed.
I would give anything after that game, especially after he watched the film, to confirm his suspicions of what he saw live. I would really like to have been, because they work and they work hard. That we will never have to worry about that with this coaching staff. They work hard. I would really have enjoyed, I think, the Sunday evening we've been called back to the More Athletic Center the conversation. It's 8 o'clock. You're like, well, I'll be damned, hon. We've been called back to the More Athletic Center.
Well, do you think they left on Saturday? Tarmac, get in the bus, get back to the stadium. Do you think that they got to go in the cars and go home?
Yeah, because they were coming back on Sunday to have a very long day, a very long day. It's a roadie. Get back to your families. Get a good night's rest. You're going to be here a lot on Sunday.
They walk into the room. Mike is sitting there. The manila folder is open, the notebook.
Oh, hey, guys.
Oh, great. Okay, we can get started.
Good to see you made it back. Yeah.
Tony, the lights.
Nobody said a word. It's just like, here we go. Yeah, uncomfortable, I'm sure, in a lot of ways. I mentioned on Saturday evening while we were watching Alabama and we were watching Georgia struggle, and we watched obviously our game and the struggle that was, and how you kind of look around the country and a lot of opportunities here. I think if you're listen, there are a couple teams that probably feel really good about themselves right about now, and one of them would be Penn State. They've played good football. Southern Cal has played really good football, but everybody else has kind of had a moment where you're like, I don't know, it was a bad half, or that was a little weird, or you're not real sure about that. And that includes Ohio State. That includes Michigan. I just mentioned Georgia, all these teams that are way up there, right? And that includes us, obviously. And you start going through the playoff contenders and, what this game means Saturday and where everybody is. It's fascinating because there doesn't appear to be a dominant team. Oklahoma has had moments where they looked great, but they've also had a moment where they didn't. I don't know what Notre Dame is, but we'll find out this weekend when they play Ohio State. So we'll find out about both teams.
Yeah, they're fascinating.
They are.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they are, but we're going to find out when they play Ohio State. That's true for both those teams because I'm kind of like, don't really know. And this is, guys, it's Wednesday. We can finally say it. It's a park your ass Saturday, guys. We got us a good old-fashioned park your ass Saturday. And I can't decide if I'm overjoyed that we play at noon for a park your ass Saturday. I think you are because of post-game responsibilities. But
yeah, the
kick
helps.
No, but I like the crescendo of ours being the best, saving the best for last. Now, I don't do a post-game, so I understand why.
That can no.
That can go to hell and die.
We can kick this thing off at 10:30 if we want to.
Yeah, we could.
A.M.
Yeah. But if I will, I'll call out some park your ass Saturday elements here. And, it's good times. Florida State, Clemson, obviously. Some sneaky good in here, too, in that noon slate. Sneaky good. Oklahoma on the road at Cincinnati. Kind of a sneaky good game.
That could be one where you say, hey, what channel's that on? Because it's the third quarter and it's 21-all.
The answer, that game is on Fox. It is Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati, sir, hosting the Oklahoma Sooners.
That's a great name.
Nippert. Good old Nippert. Auburn at Texas A&M. Maybe, I guess. I'm going to give Jimbo the benefit of the doubt. I think A&M wins big. We'll see. That, too, is at noon, ESPN, Kyle Field in College Station, Tom.
Hey, Kyle.
But here you go. I know you won't watch it, and I know it doesn't. You can't. You're going to be busy watching us and the other good games. But Army Syracuse is all right.
Ooh.
It's all right.
Okay.
It's all right.
Is it?
Close game. Could be a well-played, hard-fought contest.
What time is that?
Noon.
CBS Sports Network?
Noon. No, that's an ACC Network classic.
Oh.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure they had that one locked in. All right. Maybe SMU TCU.
Boy, you're going to the small font on the poster, you know?
All right, Colorado, Oregon. There you go. Colorado, Oregon is a 3:30 game. Autzen Stadium. Oregon wins big. We feel like that's probably true. Yeah, I think so. UCLA, Utah, good game.
Sneaky good. They didn't set that time until Sunday.
3:30 on Fox should be good. Rice Eccles Stadium hosting that classic matchup right there, buddy. Salt Lake City, Utah. You could be looking for coffee for days. Ole Miss and Alabama. Okay, all right. And we've got fuel to the fire this week already with Lane.
That's an elimination game is what that is.
Mm-hmm. So we've got that. We've got Well, all of a sudden you'll watch the second ACC Network game of the afternoon. You might tune into BC Louisville.
Maybe.
Only just to see if that kid keeps throwing, keeps playing.
Yeah.
Like, what happens now?
That's a 3:30?
That's a 3:30.
Okay.
At the same time, the BYU Kansas, which is a good game.
Fascinating.
Very fascinating. I think you probably will. No, okay. There is a bit of a dearth here. Now all of a sudden it gets a little that window starts to get a little closed off. But then you ratchet it back up when you get Washington State and Oregon State. Really good game.
Yep.
Seriously, that's a really good game. 2 ranked teams, 2 pretty good football teams. Should be fun. Looking forward to that game. And then, of course, Ohio State, Notre Dame. And then I would throw in Iowa, Penn State.
Yeah. Yep. All Penn State's got to do is get to 17.
7. Just get to 7.
And they're rocking and rolling.
Get to 7. You're going to be all right. I think it kind of ends there. The West Coast late night games, not much, not a lot.
No, but you
Got to
listed
get better.
8 or 9 good games there.
Park your ass Saturday.
This is, the thing is the result. And I don't want it to sound like I don't love the postgame show. I love the postgame show.
It's okay if you don't.
No,
you're a
I do.
professional about it.
No.
You do a good job with it.
No,
I've listened to it. I think it's good. You
Here we
don't
go.
have to lie to the people and tell them that you can't wait to do the postgame show.
The callers are excellent.
Oh, I didn't say that you're ripping the callers. You do a great job.
That's why I like it, because people are reasonable. It's nice to remember that people can be reasonable in the age of social media and message boards.
My favorite one from last week was the guy that started the call with 3 straight F-bombs before Gene was like, okay, all right.
That was me. That was Eric Angel. I told Eric, hey, man, you've exhausted the F-bomb privileges for today. Yeah. Now, if you want to drop another one next week for Clemson, you can.
You get one. You get one to start. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no problem with that. But when you have a noon kick, it is wonderful. And this is the thing that I'm going to be deciding. I think the win or the loss will help decide if it's park my ass in a bar stool or park my ass on my couch. Because if we win, I think I'm parking my ass in a bar stool near you.
You may be out and about.
Hell yeah.
Well, let's
catch up on lost time.
Let's be honest here, everybody. And I've said it from the outset that this is an intriguing week. It's going to reveal some things, good or bad, about our football team. Now, you might say every week does that. Not in this way. This is for that first set that little grouping of 4 games that we spoke so much about all summer long. This is to conclude that set. And I don't care if it's ugly or if it's beautiful or if it's something in between, however you assess it. If you in that set of 4-0, go have you a tall, cold one.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and exhale and feel pretty good about what's possible. I'm serious. Do that for yourself, because there are going to be things that piss you off. There have been things that are a little disturbing about what we're not doing and things I think we can do better and things we're going to have to do better moving forward and all that. But I will not bring those up.
Not Saturday night.
Not Saturday night. No.
No, man.
You go 4-0 in those games. I'm going to leave that alone.
A little Hawaiian Express.
You are addicted.
Oh, well, that's for the post-game show. But then that's going to send me on my way. That'll send you on your way.
Because, again, guys, you got a bye week after that. When you pull up the little schedule and you see 4-0 and green W, green W, green W, green W next to it, it just gives you the good warm and fuzzies. And then from there, you're like, oh, bye week. We can relax. Let everybody else beat each other up. I'm going to sit. I got nothing to do next week but to watch everybody else beat each other up.
And it's not a great slate. So you look for chaos and you think about how the United States is up on Europe in the Ryder Cup. That's what I'm going to be doing.
You could. And our friends flying to the Ryder Cup as we speak. Virginia Tech, by the way, is the following game. And they're god-awful, folks. Now, I know you just heard me say that about BC, but I'm going to say it again. I'm not shy. There's a home game for Florida State coming off a bye week. Come on now. You're going to feel good about that. I think the next time my antenna will be raised in a serious way, if we're able to win this game against Clemson, will actually be, because of the BC game, Syracuse.
Yeah.
Physical, mobile quarterback that's going to make you make a play, make you be aggressive. You're going to
stand where you're supposed to stand.
Or stand where you're supposed to stand, right. You actually have nothing but a high-focus set of games, save for North Alabama. Once you get to Syracuse, it becomes, now I got to ratchet back up. That's why you're going to exhale on Saturday if we get this win, because you've got a little window. It's this post-Clemson game if you win it, followed by Virginia Tech, followed by Virginia Tech. And then it's time to buckle in, because now it's, can you be buttoned up against Syracuse? Can you play well and beat Duke? Duke's good. Duke's straight up good. You're going to have to play well.
Yep.
Elko will have them ready to play.
In a way, we'll know how good after this weekend.
Right. And then you're at Wake, which, damn it, man, for whatever reason, that has to command your attention.
It'll be their season.
And then you're at Pitt, who you know will be physical. They don't have to be great at quarterback, and they're not, but they'll be physical, so you got to want to play, and that's on the road. Miami, I told you this before the season began. They're a better team than they were a year ago. It's not close. They're good on the offensive and defensive line right now. They're keeping Van Dyke upright, and he's making plays. I mentioned the North Alabama game. You can go ahead and not be focused, but Florida's better than a lot of people thought they would be.
Yep.
And
then a trip to Charlotte.
And then you're going to Charlotte.
Good Lord willing.
Here we go. A lot on the line.
But there's if the poker analogy, there's a big pot in the middle of the table right now, and you win this thing, you're going to have all of the chips right next to you.
What's the post-Clemson victory meal?
Ooh.
I might be grilling a bunch of seafood.
A little brisky?
I got to think about it. I'll have my register sausage, but I think I'm going to some lobster tail.
Lobster tail?
Yeah. On the grill, you can do them. They're good. You can.
You're fired up about that. Folks can't really see it with the camera, I don't think. But your eyes lit up.
You can do it. You can. They're good.
Like the flame of a gas grill.
I figured out.
Well, you could do it.
You can. I've done it. It's good. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Whidden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
The leaves are starting to fall.
the temperatures will start to fall, and the prices are falling right now at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. Incredible dealer discounts up to $5,000 are available on all hot spring spas, the industry leader in hot tubs and spas. If you've never experienced the sensation and relaxation of having your own hot tub in your backyard on a cool evening, you're truly missing out. The cold months are coming, and now's the time to set yourself up for the best winter season you've ever had. Plus, you'll gain the added health benefits of reduced stress, relief of sore muscles, and better sleep. You'll feel so relaxed after a nice soak in your new hot spring spa. You'll experience some of the best sleep of your life. Head over to Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road and check out their huge showroom packed with the best selection of hot tubs and spas available. And ask about getting up to $5,000 in discount, low interest financing, and a free accessory to make your hot tub dreams come true. If you're ready to relax, Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
Attention radio listeners, this is a Foodies Takeout and Delivery new restaurant alert. Now available for takeout and delivery from foodiestakeout.com. The Hawthorne Bistro, Jerry's Love on a Plate, Coach's Pizza, Munchie's Pizza, Red Eye Coffee, Lofty Pursuits, OG Subs, Dave's Pizza Garage, Sakura Sushi, and many more. Find a complete list of locally owned restaurants offering takeout and delivery at foodiestakeout.com. That's foodiestakeout.com. Don't just shop local, order local.
A cup of Joe, Java, Brew, Go-Go Beans, Brainwater, Liquid Lightning, Wakey Juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
An overreaction. In a story published for the Orange County Register and Southern California News Group, USC beat reporter Luca Evans mentioned a conversation freshman running back Quentin Joyner had with another player prior to meeting with the media. Said the Trojans head coach Lincoln Riley took exception to that story. Didn't want personal conversations amongst players being used in an article. Never thought to do it, never brought it to anybody's attention on the show that I'm aware of, other than maybe an utterance, but not a whole conversation. Where do we stand on this 2-week ban, sir? We are lords of all thing media, good and bad.
That's where I stand. Florida State 31-10. I'm exhaling. I don't know. 2 weeks? Seems a little strong.
It seems a little strong. It's kind of fun to see these moments where, and a lot of the younger reporters, you have to kind of look over and be like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that one. But it's funny, you don't know when you first start. You're kind of like, well, what can I say? I'm allowed to be out here. What am I seeing? Lots of people are seeing this. What can I say?
Yeah, I've seen some penalties in my 13 years of covering Florida State. Maybe previous coaches have, wielded their authority.
I've seen more than penalties. I've seen downright MFs dropped on people.
Well, yeah, that's
yes.
That was Jimbo's path. He wasn't like
no
access. We didn't have any.
No.
So. But he would call you.
He would personally call you, yes, or he'd walk right over to you, which I can live with. But a lot of times it was not out of the way of the other people.
But there are more instances of media outlets, some new, some intentionally reckless, abusing the privilege than there are of coaching incidents where I say, man, that's a little ridiculous, coach. Like there's more fouls by the media than there are by the coach, I think.
If a coach is open to letting media in, it is fair to say, these are the expectations. This is what I will or will not allow. And then you go from there. I mean, that's because most coaches these days kind of adapt the Saban model of not allowing anybody to say anything about anything because they don't let them out there. It's ridiculous. And then all these people got paranoid. Bobby Bowden was the opposite for a long, long time. Bobby Bowden let anybody watch practice if you were part of the media. And you could go out there and you'd be there from start to finish. You watched scrimmages. You watched everything. When I first broke into the business, you could watch everything. And Bowden understood when he was building a fledgling program into something that you needed to give access to people to talk about what you were building. And Mike is very similar in this way. He believes in what they teach. He believes in the way they go about it. He believes in their methodology, in short, and he wants you to document, in this case, the climb. He wants you to document its players and the good they're doing. Now, there are exceptions. You're not going to report injuries and all of that. We've talked about that on the air before. But I just think it's a smart way. You want that kind of coverage. You want people also to engage in a part of this that's not talked about, which is using discretion, which is what comes with an appreciation and also being human. And how do you humanize people? Well, you get to know them. And how do you get to know them? Well, you're around them. So if you have people that are out there talking with you on a regular basis, getting to know the things that they're allowed to talk about, not talk about, but also see you as a human being, something other than a man standing behind a dais that I see once for 15 minutes every week, but rather I'm there every day. Now I'm not apt to necessarily be overly aggressive about the one thing I saw that may sound good for me on that day, but not long-term be beneficial to access for anybody and or this program or that man.
Well, it helps for, individuals themselves. It could be coaches or players, but it also helps for the nuggets that they are very paranoid about. Like, for example, the Philly special we ran in the bowl game. How many times did we see that in camp?
A lot.
It's better that we can talk about that after it happens. Say, oh man, I watched them run this, 20 times in camp. And the defense stopped the last 12 because they knew it was coming. It was ridiculous how often we would run that into the teeth of the defense because they could just cheat. They're not even doing anything. Like the defense, like, oh, they're running the trick play again. Look out. And that's the fun part about it. So once it happens and it's been put out there for everybody to see, we can tell those stories, those backstories. People love a good backstory. But, oh, they were repping this week. I remember a couple times during the watch along last year, I was like, oh, I saw that on Wednesday. That's a good play. I didn't know if it was going to work. It worked. But, you get that context on a play-to-play basis. But then also you can tell the story of, let's say that we didn't get practice access between Johnny's performance against Southern Miss and Boston College. I think it's great that we were able to report that he had 2 good days of practice. So you could perhaps anticipate that he would be good this week at BC.
I think it's also cool. Like, I'm not referencing anything about this week, but Mike's history for these games, I think you can allude to this because we've seen it. These are on the field results in games. Mike's history is that in big games, in rivalry games, in games of this stature, there's at least a play or two that you haven't seen run on the season yet that gets broken out in a game like this, where you're going, oh man, Okay, they haven't shown that on tape yet. There's no way so-and-so could have been ready for this. And that always excites me. I love coaches who have that the capability of understanding some games are more important than others. Mike's never shied away from that.
Yeah, the fourth down play to Toafili, we didn't see that.
No, never saw it.
There are a couple of days a week where we cannot go.
We're not allowed to go tomorrow.
And clearly that was repped on those days that we were not there. Or in the scrimmages that we're not allowed to see.
And that play is freaking beautiful.
It was. Oh, you're just like, nice.
Listen,
nice, Mike.
The slip screen that gets called back because Keon's blocking downfield, whether it's his fault or Morlock's fault, I'm not sure because we're not in the meeting, so I don't know the depth. But what I'm saying is now the penalty's called on Keon Coleman, but
he was.
Yeah.
Morlock was more than a yard past the line of scrimmage.
Right. He needed to be behind the line of scrimmage on that play.
Yeah.
That stands to reason, yes. But the point is that play is gorgeous, and it's kind of indefensible. And they hadn't run it prior to that moment in the game. It's a conversion.
Maybe that's the thing you didn't want to put on film. I didn't want to have to use that against Boston College. Thanks a lot, guys.
That's a great – I think you are deducing something there that is accurate because I think that play is awesome, by the way. And he knew the time and the place in the game that they had to get a conversion. You get that conversion, the game is over. Again, there's so many moments where the game is over if you don't do something dumb. And so then that happens and you're watching it and that gets called back. Now you get a punt. Well, God dog it, man.
We wasted that play for no reason.
We just wasted that play. We just showed the world that play. And, oh, by the way, it worked. It worked. I mean, hell, you get a block there. It's a walk-in, actually. But, damn it, man.
Or you run 1 yard or closer to the line of scrimmage. And
I also think, well, that's why he had the faraway stare on his face when the ref came over to explain to him why they threw the flag. Because at first he didn't know.
Well, he was pissed. He even said in the postgame, like, they didn't call it for that ticky-tack. He thinks it was ticky-tack relative to the 1 yard he gets. It's over a yard. Don't block the guy downfield, man.
But also, he didn't have eyes in the back of his head. That's why he didn't know. That's why he's mad at Morlock. Morlock's supposed to just understand.
I think it is on Morlock.
Yeah, but I'm saying Keon can't know he's not where he's supposed to be.
Correct.
So he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Agreed. I do not blame Keon. I've misstated that. I do not blame Keon in that situation. I think that's supposed to be a drag at or behind the line.
But either way, your point stands in that Clemson now has seen it.
Yep.
And if you're going to give that up because you're forced to, because you've played like idiots for a half, then you might as well make that a conversion so that we can salt the game away and not deal with the heart attack that we're all about to have.
I can tell you the double pass with Span or Spawn, as Fowler loves to call him.
Yeah.
That was repped to death in camp, but it was set up before they ran it.
Right.
That was didn't set it up against LSU.
They didn't set it up at all. It turned out that Span's elite Lakewood High School athleticism led him to make a play that very few can do unless you attend LHS.
Between him and Jordan, you've had about 4 of those plays this year where you're like, whoa, run around, make something happen. What's going to happen?
You can do that against Southern Miss. Surprisingly, he can do that against LSU.
And he scrambled about 40 yards. How wide is the field? 50 some odd? From sideline to sideline?
Yeah.
That's about 40 yards that he scrambled.
It was pretty funny.
He was exhausted, I'm sure.
He took it easy, too. He's like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, it's a good throw.
Get off me, bitch. Okay, I got this. Here you go. Get you some of that.
It's a really good throw.
Yeah, it is. It's a dart. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A Tallahassee man is now facing criminal charges in the death of his 1-year-old son. Jevin Randall, 20 years old, is accused of negligence and improper storage of a firearm in his son's death. The accidental shooting happened at the Grove Park Apartments on Dick Wilson Boulevard September 6th. Court records say the toddler was shot in the abdomen as he and his 1-year-old brother played in the back bedroom. Randall told police he heard a pop while watching TV in another room, and Randall discovered the child had been shot. Police recovered a Glock 19 handgun with a spent cartridge at the scene and found ammunition and another unsecured pistol under the bed. Paramedics met up with Randall and his mother as they were driving the child to the hospital. Randall later told police he was carrying the firearm because masked men with a gun and crowbar were walking through their apartment complex the night before. The incident had been reported to police, but officers were not able to locate the men. Randall is scheduled to make his first appearance before a judge today. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 87. Easterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour.
Mainly clear skies tonight. Lows level off around 69. Partly cloudy tomorrow. Chance for scattered storms. Highs level off around 87. High of 86 Friday under mainly clear skies. 87 Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 84.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu. Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And you guys will join us in the chat. You'll ask. All right, we'll crack a cold beer while we do that. First of the week.
And will it be a tall boy? I
don't know yet.
All right.
I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I haven't decided. I got beer out in the garage fridge, which is where beer lives.
Oh, that's right. You have in the last year, since last football season, added the garage fridge.
A second garage fridge.
You have 2 garage fridges?
I've always had the one garage fridge, which is really kind of a freezer more than it is. It's for the meats and such that sit out there. But this is a classic fridge, and that is the beer fridge, amongst other things. But lots of different
like
kinds.
Sports drinks for the boys?
Yeah,
waters?
That's right. That's right. Well, stuff after I get done mowing a lawn where you walk into the garage rather than the house while you're pouring sweat. You're like, oh, look at that. Look at that. I've got my sports drinks there. Good stuff.
It's one of the simple pleasures in life is the garage fridge.
The garage fridge is important. Every self-respecting man will have themselves a garage fridge.
Anytime I went to a house party in high school, a little early for it, I know, but college, certainly. If it was running low,
the garage
me and my
fridge.
friends would inspect to see if there was a garage fridge, perhaps.
Yeah, love the garage fridge. If there's a special place in your heart for the garage fridge that stands above the actual house fridge, and you would think the house fridge is probably like, what the hell, man? I service the whole house. I'm so important. Look in here. There's yogurt, there's cheese, there's milk, there's lunch meat. There are a variety of drinks and juices and the like. There's a big thing of OJ over here. Look at this. And then up top in my own freezer right here, I've got waffles. I've also got some frozen dinners that the kids use. Why am I devalued? Why do you have such a love for the garage fridge who sits out there like a bump on a log, doesn't help the family on a regular basis, and only houses alcohol? And then I go, there's your answer. And then me and the home fridge, the house fridge, are done talking. I go back out there to the garage fridge.
That garage fridge might have a reserve of maybe some waffles in case
there's a reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lads use too many of them. Hey, I want my emergency waffle fund.
Those blueberry waffles, you really can't go bad with those. They're just fantastic. Who can go wrong with a blueberry waffle? Also, having kids has led me back down to my original love, the path to Pop-Tarts.
Still haven't had one.
It's disgusting to hear.
When was that best stuff bit from? Like 8 years ago?
Yeah, I still can't believe you haven't had one.
I'm going to make it to 40, I guess.
I'm going to get you more Pop-Tarts than you've ever thought of, apparently. There's plenty of.
What's the best flavor?
Well, now this is a hotly
here we go.
contested, conversation between Pop-Tart lovers. You're one of two kinds of Pop-Tart lover. Okay, first of all, do you like the frosted Pop-Tarts?
That would be a non-starter. So if I'm going to have a Pop-Tart, it'd be the other category.
Okay, that's correct. I'm with you on this. I don't love the frosted Pop-Tarts. I can eat them, but I don't like them. I think they're unnecessary. So I like the clean version of a Pop-Tart. And I don't know. I'm still a classic strawberry guy. A lot of people like blueberry. But raspberry is delicious, Brian. You're not wrong on that. It is delicious. But I'm a no frosting guy. Agreed. Unfrosted brown sugar is quality and all that. You see, I think we're catching up on a trend here.
Cinnamon.
Blueberry, raspberry, strawberry, cinnamon. The apple cinnamon's really good too. I don't want Panama, and we're not doing frosted. So you see what I'm saying here? But the kids have done this for me. The kids have led me back down that. I hadn't had them in like 30 years, and then you had kids. The next thing I knew, we were all eating Pop-Tarts again. It's a simple pleasure.
It feels like, because it's breakfast. You have it in the morning. Is that right?
I don't eat them all
like
that often.
Sweets for breakfast.
I don't do that. No, I don't do that.
Strange.
I'm a snack guy. I'll do a snack every now and again. Yeah. Middle of the afternoon Pop-Tart is the best Pop-Tart. It's not the morning Pop-Tart. No.
I know everybody.
I also do not toast my Pop-Tarts. Lots of people do. I do not toast mine.
People like the chocolate pancakes.
P. Right? Simpson, there it is. Any time of day, Tom.
The chocolate, chip pancakes. People are thrilled for that.
Yeah, not me.
I'm not. Yeah. Give me the regular pancake. There's a time for chocolate. It is not
blueberry pancakes. Blueberry infused pancake. I don't like pancakes, period. But if I'm going to eat a pancake, it needs to have some blueberries in it.
I think once a year.
Or top it with strawberries.
Yeah.
And whipped cream.
It's like a fast food hamburger. Like once a year, I just get this craving
for a Big Mac or something.
I never have fast food
double
hamburgers.
Quarter pounder or something.
I always have a chicken sandwich. That's not even like a plug.
Yeah.
But once no, it's well, they don't advertise, but they're not a threat to our friends at Zaxby's. Different category. Whataburger, specifically a Whataburger.
You just get the hankering for one,
buddy, once a year, and it is delightful. But that's only.
Will you allow yourself a giant Whataburger after a big win against Clemson on Saturday?
Now here's the thing. I know we've got a lot of Gestapo for color people here, in terms of what we're wearing. This is red, by the way, folks. Whataburger's colors are Clemson's, so that is one weird situation where I'd say I don't know that I would go to the orange and white place to go get some food after Clemson. Is it apropos that you eat from something that is that logo?
You vanquish
them, so you can go there.
Yeah, it's like you're killing and eating the warriors that you take down in an ancient fight, ancient battle.
Okay, you're on board with that.
Consume their souls.
Might be some jalapenos and bacon on the burger.
Sure, throw that in there with their human flesh.
It's a great smell, isn't it? It's a great smell.
Tessa asks a real question while we get caught up in the love of Pop-Tarts. Jeff, does Clemson have a better offensive line than Boston College? If so, will the defensive line struggle again? Hey, that's a good question for a couple of reasons. BC's offensive line's not terrible. It's not terrible. And they actually have a guard that's really good and going to play in the league. Now, they did lose a player in this game. But I don't think their offensive line is necessarily better than Clemson's. In fact, I don't think it is better than Clemson's. But here's the good news, Tessa. I don't think we struggled against Boston College offensive line. Quite to the degree, as a lot of people think, because of the explosive rate we gave up on 3rd and 4th down. Traditional downs, run downs, we dominated. Their traditional running game was non-existent.
There were a couple of short yardage plays that pissed people off. It's the antithesis of...
Oh, I'm going to give you one right now.
Okay.
and this is where I was specifically mad at Adam Fuller. How the, I almost said it because I was legit mad. That fourth down that they go for, the first one, is it? We come out of a timeout and we don't have anybody over the center, and we're shading in the three gap. The B gap outside with the three shade technique. What are we doing? That was ridiculous. You just gave him the first down, and it was out of a timeout.
That's not about relative toughness of our defensive
Not
line.
Stupid is what it is, and that infuriated me. Now, okay, everybody makes mistakes. Shouldn't happen out of a timeout. Really weird. But LSU's offensive line is good.
Yeah.
LSU's offensive line is better than both these offensive lines.
There you go.
Florida State dominated LSU's offensive line. So equating the struggles against Boston College to that of further struggles against a better offensive line that Clemson may bring to the table Saturday is not necessarily a fair.
Yes, because it does not account for LSU and their aptitude up front.
And it doesn't account for when we're healthy and not sick and have all of our personnel like we did in that game in which we dominated their offensive line. So, okay. That's why every game is unto itself. Sets of circumstances change. Health changes. Mood, location, weather, scores, these things matter. That's why you can't go by traditional statistics anymore. Like, we now know there are better ways of assessing what an offense is or what a defense is, as opposed to just looking at a score or yardage.
Total defense, that we're in the hundreds right now. In total
I think we're
defense,
101st, right? That's a stupid stat. Yeah.
Agreed, especially this small of a sample size.
But doesn't it take into account explosive plays, quality of competition,
right,
score of the game, any of that?
Yes, it's explosive plays against. Now,
we're giving up too many of those.
I thought this year we would give up more of them, but we would get more of them going the other way. The second category has been adequate, but not great, and explosive plays for the defense. I think that'll get better as the season goes along, but however you slice it, this is where I think a total stat is still damning one way or the other. If Boston College goes for 400 plus yards, I don't care how they got there.
You do. You absolutely do care how they got there.
No, not if it's that offense.
I think you do.
How the hell do they get to I'll allow for if you're up by 30 points and they rack up 250 in the second half.
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't that.
No, but you're up by 21 with the ball, about to be with the ball and blow them out. It's circumstances matter. Score, time, place, they all matter. It's a better way of assessing than just saying we gave up 400 and something yards. It even matters within that game, Tom, because we dominated first and second down. And they also couldn't just run the ball traditionally.
Right.
So how you give up those yards matters.
I'm not saying it doesn't. What I'm saying is that you can, with that offense against this defense, still amass 400 plus yards. I don't care how you got there.
That shouldn't happen. But again, I think.
Yes, that's my point. It should. I mean, come on. Shouldn't happen.
Yeah. But even you say, and rightfully so, had we done that when the score, what would you feel better if it was 38-10 when they began to amass all that yardage? Because I would.
I would feel better if we're not at halftime concerned about basic things.
Oh, well, that's a different discussion. That's a different discussion. Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, you could say that roughly you just take 3 explosive plays early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
2 where we don't cover somebody, 1 goes for a touchdown, and then 1 of the first third and longs. That's 100 plus yards on one in 3 plays, right? Like, it's just an absurd amount of yardage in 3 plays. You're averaging 30 yards. Those are chunks. That's not something that, is representative of our dominance down for down. It's still Thomas Castellanos. It's still that offense.
Mm.
It's not Jaden Daniels going for 300 in the first half with those receivers. I can understand that. Counterpunch coming. Counterpunch delivered. Haymaker counterpunch delivered. Good job. It's those dudes. Come on, fellas.
I want to answer this question Chris asks, and then we got to do probables. Do we see Blake Nicholson play for third and long plays this game to cover the running backs out of the backfield? Well, I think cover in general. Maybe. It's so early to play that kid, but let's not pretend like we haven't seen him put on the weight and the size requisite to be on the field, and we have evidence that he can diagnose and make the correct decisions in coverage. I think he's going to play this year. Maybe not Saturday. I think we're going to see him play a little bit more and maybe sooner than we thought. I think he's fast-tracking in the right direction, Tom.
Yeah, agreed. Look, I know Deloach made some mistakes on Saturday, but he made a lot of plays. And so I think he'll be out there more. I don't think you're going to have a drive start to finish with Lundy and Graham out there.
Well, you don't? You don't think so?
No.
You don't think you'll have Lundy and Graham out there?
And that's the other thing. That's a 10-10 ball game when that happens.
I know.
You know, it wasn't 31-10 when we decided to put him out there. It was 10-10.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh, my consternation as I watched that play out. Power Mill Sports, Power Mill Training Academy, PowerMillSports.com is where you want to go. Get your young daughter or son involved in bat-to-ball sports. It's a lot of fun. Softball and baseball can be, but they do need to be equipped with the proper technique and skills, foundational skills that help every player get the most out of their playing ability. Get that done at Power Mill Sports, PowerMillSports.com. Cue it up, sir.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
1 minute. Overlooked in all this football frenzy is baseball down the stretch has gotten to be awesome. It's 4-4 Philadelphia and Atlanta in the ninth inning. Aaron Nola, Bryce Elder, 3-2 Cincinnati, Minnesota. That's not enough in game. Bailey Auber, Hunter Green. 12-1 Washington leads the White Sox. Doesn't matter. Why am I talking about Boston and Texas? 6-4 Texas. Orioles, Astros, they're in the third. That game is 1-0 Baltimore. The Astros have fallen off a cliff all of a sudden. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Later on tonight, Mariners, Athletics, George Kirby, Joey Estes. We got Giants, D-backs, Logan Webb, Merrill Kelly, Rockies, Padres, Chase Anderson, Seth Lugo, Angels, Rays, Reed Detmers, and Aaron Savali. That's it. That's all. Good job out of you, Tom. Good job, Director Matthew. There are other games. We can't get to them. Tonight, 7 o'clock. Ask us anything. Peace.